How to Care for Your Human by Stephen Lake. Greetings, fellow felines. It is I, your venerable and fellow house cat, Jingles, coming to you with a simple lesson on the care and maintenance of your human. For those of you who don't have a human as of yet, such as you who are feral, as well as kittens, I highly recommend that you listen to today's lecture, as you will need to be well armed with this most important information for the future when you do, by whatever means, be that either coercing, coaxing, outright capture, enslavement, or any other means that you take in order to acquire a loving, nurturing, willing, or possibly even enslaved human who will do your bidding, pander to you, and provide your every need and desire you could ever want. Hey, you back there, stop scratching. You're spreading fleas to everyone, and that's the fastest way to get rejected by a human, other than mange, of course, and you want to get yourself a human of your own as easily and quickly as possible. And yes, I did mention that enslaving is one method by which this can be achieved. But, yeah, let's not get the police dogs involved in this if we can, as that never ends well. So please, only use that as a last resort. Doberman in blue, kicking in the front door of your castle to rescue a human from enslavement is very ugly and almost never ends well. So please, only use that as an absolute last resort. Anyhow, let's move on to our first topic of this lecture. Point number 1, how to properly request food. For those of you who may have done this before, you are well aware that humans are very vocal creatures, whereas we are not. For some reason, the human brain cannot grasp the subtlety of a simple look that says, "Fill my bowl," or "Die." Human. Our scientists have studied this issue at great length, and they have yet to determine why that is. As such, being the highly verbal and ostensibly obtuse creatures that they are, the only way to alert them to our dire need for food, even if our food bowls is still at 98% of its capacity, is to scream and do so at the top of our lungs. Nothing less will achieve the desired result that you are after. Sometimes you even need to rise to the level of carving up their pant legs until they finally acknowledge the need for the refilling of your food bowl. The same goes for your water dish as well. As a small side note, little old ladies are known to be hard of hearing, so shouting from across the room won't always work with them. In cases such as this, you need to get in their face and let them know, up close and personal, that you need more food. Anyhow, moving on. Point 2, regularly pet your human. It is a well-known fact that most humans will gladly pet you and give you chin scritchies, back rubs, head rubs, and... oh, for those of you who have never experienced it, the butt scratch is the most amazing, incredible thing you will ever experience. That being said, never, ever, ever let your human scratch your belly. It's wrong, and you should punish them for it with bites and scratches, but only enough to make them stop. Do not harm them enough that they throw you out, for that is worse than having to endure a belly rub. This now brings me to point 3, when, and we're not to bite. At the top of your list with any human is to understand when it is right and proper to bite your human and when it is not. Biting is a useful tool for keeping your human in line. However, excessive biting, or biting that wounds your human, especially if it's done far too often, may result in expulsion from your castle. Humans believe these castles to be their homes, and, being the bigger mammal, will stop at nothing to defend it, including expelling the likes of you. I see we have Larry with us again in class today. If you want to know what happens if you bite too much or too hard, ask him. This is, what? Larry, your 9th home you've been in? 12th. Well, no wonder you're back in my class again. Clearly you need to work on your bite inhibition some more. So I highly recommend that you take Ms. Cleo's class again. She'll either fix you, or she'll shred you so badly that you'll wish she had. And no, Joey, not that kind of fixed. So please relax. Anyhow, learning, understanding, knowing, and applying this knowledge and skill can easily help you avoid being evicted by your human. Point 4, always stay healthy and in shape. While I know that the easy, relaxed, and comfortable life is the golden achievement that we all strive for, however, I strongly advise that you do your best to stay trim and fit for as long as you can. Why, you might ask? Because being too lazy often results in unwanted vet visits. And, ugh, it's best to avoid those at all costs. especially since those white-coated freaks like to shove things into places that you absolutely do not want things shoved. Trust me, been there, done that, and would happily slay a cow just to avoid repeating that. Oh, and the pills. Let's never talk about the pills that they make lazy cats take. Anyhow, point 5. Give presents to your human regularly. For those of you who don't know, humans are horrible hunters. If you don't believe me, look at the great big white thing that humans affectionately call a refrigerator. I don't know what it does. All I know is that it's cold inside, and it stores things that, well, even a dog wouldn't eat. I'll leave it at that. As such, it's always a good idea to ensure our humans are well fed and have sufficient nutrition by catching a healthy meal of mouse, random small birds and animals, or anything else in your size class that you can acquire, and bringing it to them. They may not appreciate it when they see it, but that's fine. It's a thought that counts. Anyhow, point 6. Humans with dogs. Yes, there are humans who sometimes feel that housing such a foul and loathsome beast within our castles is a good, wholesome idea. I, however, do not. But before I make it sound as though all dogs are bad, they're not. Some dogs know their place within our world and are readily submissive to us. Those are the kind of dogs you are allowed to tolerate. If they're not, then please feel free to shred them if you're able to. Point 7. Dealing with rat dogs. If there was ever to be a spawn of hell on 4 legs, all wrapped up in a pint-sized package, it would be the rat dog. These are little mini dogs about the size of a normal house cat, namely us, that are on average around 1/10 of their full-size cousins. The most annoying part of any rat dog you will ever encounter is that, despite having been greatly reduced in size, likely by some crazed, evil, mad scientist, if you ever encounter such a person, please, by any means necessary, kill them, for the good of all cat kind. Only their bodies were shrunken. Everything else remains the same. It's like shrinking down hell, putting it in a jar, and handing it to someone. Yes, I can tell by your expressions that you've either encountered this unfortunate phenomenon before, or you can already picture the nightmare that it would be to have to live with a creature like that. Thankfully, they are very fragile and easily able to be eliminated if they become too wild. However, simply being around one is often far too much for an average feline like ourselves to bear. So be prepared for battle the moment you encounter one. I, myself, was once forced to deal with a rat dog of the Chihuahua persuasion. He lasted 2 days in the house. They still haven't found him yet, and if I did my job right, they never will. Mohaha. Yes, anyhow, point 8. Never show fear, even when you're terrified. I do realize this is hard to do, but please, for the good of all cat kind, please remind any and all creatures that you encounter that we, of the feline persuasion, are superior to all. If you do not, you will be the one who becomes the slave or the owned, and not the owner. Point 9. Always avoid being subjugated. This includes from our own kind. It's one thing if a fellow feline wishes to assist you in the care and, if necessary, enslavement of your human. That is permissible. But if they seek to make you their servant, by all means do not allow that. We are not savages. We are gods. If you don't believe me, ask the Egyptians and, in some cases, your local crazy cat lady. Point 10. Know your plan B. Despite the best laid plans of mice and men, why do they even use that? Even we cats need to have something like this for every possible situation. Never get caught with your tail down. Always be ready. This is important when dealing with humans, as they like to be annoyingly impulsive, as do dogs. So backup plans, and even backups to your backups, are important to have figured out well in advance. Point 11. Kittens. I do realize that some of you in my class are still kittens. So I will say this. Yes, you are cute, and you are adorable, but you are still kittens. While you are above a human, you are not above an adult cat. So know your place. Adults, make sure they always follow this rule, as the junior is always subservient to the elder. Never forget that. Point 12. Litter box etiquette. While I know that most of you already know how to properly use a litter box, there are some among us, or at least there's been in the past, who do not know this, or its proper use. I will say this with great vigor. Please use it, and use it correctly. We may be lovable barbarians, but we're not savages. If you're uncertain on the correct and proper use of a litter box, then please see Professor Butch about this, and he will gladly instruct you in the correct and proper use of a litter box. This is also another way in which you can ensure that you are not removed from your castle by your human due to bad litter habits. Humans will happily clean our litter boxes for us, but they do not like to clean up our effluence if we leave it anywhere but in the previously designated locations. Failure to follow this rule may result in your being evicted. Point 13. Hairball etiquette. We all get hairballs from time to time. It's just who we are. But please, for the love of all that's feline, do not randomly leave them everywhere. Only put them in places where they are easy to clean up and do not greatly inconvenience your human. Larry, I'm looking at you on this one. Yes, you. I know for a fact that at least half the humans who have evicted you have done so because you chose to relieve yourself of your hairballs on their faces while they slept. I know you like to share with your humans, but please, that's disgusting, even by feline standards. Point 14. Best places to sleep. Anything that's warm, has a sunbeam, is devoid of dogs, children, sometimes kittens, or is dark, makes a good sleeping location. In some cases, humans will provide you with a good place to sleep without you even having to ask. But sometimes you have to come up with your own accommodations. Sleeping under beds and sheets make for good locations to do so. Just be aware, if you do, you may be opening yourself up to a surprise attack, as you will have limited vision, or even none at all, and greatly hindered hearing, resulting in being snuck up upon, especially by human children or other creatures, and greatly harassed. Point 15. Children. These adorable, pint-sized creatures who are the strange and oddly shaped human equivalent of a kitten are adorable creatures, but also far too curious, even by our own standards. And the babies, while they're useful for getting a free meal when they perform their rather messy eating rituals, they can still be useful if properly trained. Even then, they're often best avoided as they are not as easily trained, controlled, or otherwise managed in the same way as an adult human. They also seem hell-bent on ruining everything we have, including our precious nap time. But that doesn't mean you should avoid them entirely. Just in the same way that a human can be trained to be a proper and capable servant to us, so can their offspring. They just take a bit more work than the adults do. Point 16. Know your place as a cat. We are the emperors of the world, albeit with a lot of competition. But if handled correctly, it's still possible to maintain our place as royalty within this world. But it will be up to each of you to do your part to ensure that. And lastly, closing thoughts. While I have already shared an extensive amount of information with you in this short, but informative lecture, there's so much more you need to know to be a proper cat. That is why we, at the Feline Academy, offer each of you a wide range of classes on everything it means to be and live as a cat. We even offer doctoral and graduate classes in how to rule the world, if that should ever be your thing. And with that, I conclude my lecture for today, as it's nearly nap time, and I'm getting sleepy. If any of the rest of you are presently feeling the same, there's a relaxation room just down the hallway where you can avail yourself to one of the numerous comfortable beds that we offer there. For those of you feeling the call of nature, the litter room is just down the hallway to your left, past the tuna fish stand. And lastly, for those of you feeling hungry, the cafeteria is currently open and offering each of you a wide variety of treats, snacks, tuna fish, dried cat food, and a wide variety of meats, small animals, mice, and so on. And with that, class is dismissed. Now go out there and be the lovable, adorable barbarians we all know you are. The end.